Hi, we're live with a legendary artist. So lucky to have him here in Chattanooga. John Henry, we were just talking about some of his projects around the world just now, but say hi to everybody.
Hello.
And we are here. If you haven't been here, this is so cool. May not seem like it's in Chattanooga, but it is. Sculpture Fields at Montague Park.
Right.
So, John, you want to tell everybody where we are?
Well, you're on the south side, and we're about 2 blocks south of Main Street, between Holtzclaw and Central. Okay. That's where we are.
And he was just saying something really nice about Montague Park, or the park in general. What did you tell me? It's your park, not your park. He said
I was
it
just
better.
saying, people say to me, "Wow, your park looks great," and I said, "It's not my park; it's your park." And it really is. I mean, this park, the property belongs to the city. Our organization, our 501c3, has a 40-year lease, and it's really kind of a partnership. The city does certain things for us, like cut the grass and take away the trash, but we run all of the programming, and we have built the park.
And these beautiful pieces looking around everywhere. So you've definitely made something of this park.
Well, it's pretty unusual because there's not another park like this within, St. Louis is the closest one really, and Cincinnati has a park similar to this, but there's nothing south of here, so it makes it pretty interesting.
Okay, so we can see how interesting it is if you see this white piece of art behind us. Tell me about this. This is new.
This is new. This is the last piece that's been installed in the park, and it's by Katz. And Katz lives in Detroit.
Okay.
And he's been a sculptor in Michigan for 40 years. I mean, he's been around a long time. And in the sculpture world, we all kind of know each other. And,
Imagine.
And so the pieces in this park are on loan from the artists, for the most part.
Okay.
Some of them have been given to the park. I think we own 6 pieces in the park. And they've been given to us either by the artists or by a major collector. My piece, which is way up in there.
Way up in there. Can we kind of see that piece we're talking about?
It's the long horizontal piece that's rusty.
The rusty piece is yours.
Yeah.
What is
that's
that
the
called?
only piece of mine. That piece is called Betty Davis Eyes.
Oh, cool. Kim Carnes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly.
I would never have thought that's what.
Well, Betty Davis was shown that piece was made in 1975.
Wow.
So it predates her death. And the piece was, a photograph of it was in the New York Times or something, and she was shown the photograph, I'm told.
Okay.
And she says, "My eyes look like that." So
I think
anyhow,
it's beautiful.
Well, thank you. And this is the latest piece. We just installed this about 3 weeks ago.
From Katz, right?
From Katz. Ray came in and brought the piece. It came actually, I think, from California and from another exhibition. And it's on loan here for 3 years, as are most of the pieces. And the other piece that was installed at the same time, actually, this piece was installed on a Tuesday, and the other white piece in the background there is by Albert Paley. And a lot of people in Chattanooga know Albert Paley because the fence around the back of the Hunter, that was done by Albert Paley 30 years ago.
Wow.
That was his first major commission.
Can we see that piece, Ellis?
We can.
The other piece? We can. Okay, good. Just making sure you guys can see everything. I said it looks like really cool, large paper mache, but everybody has a different impression, and that's what's cool about art.
Well,
tell me,
it looks like paper mache, but it weighs about 40,000 pounds.
40,000 pounds. Woo! A little heavy.
It's made out of steel. And the interesting thing about Albert Paley is his first commission was here in Chattanooga, and he's become very well known since then. And he had an exhibition on Park Avenue about a year and a half ago.
Yes.
And that was the largest piece in that exhibition.
Wow, and now it's here.
That
so
piece
cool.
came from Park Avenue.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And people are here today. It is a hot one out here.
It is.
But we see a few people walking around. And tell people, I think people may not know this is here, like we talked about before, that you can come and park here at no charge.
That's correct.
and walk around and enjoy this park. The first time I was here, I'll tell you, and I've lived in Chattanooga on and off for 10 years, I felt like I wasn't in Chattanooga. I couldn't believe this was here. And I think I was overlooking it from somewhere. I think I was maybe at your house, because you live here.
Yes,
right?
I live right there.
Yes, he lives right over there. Can we see? We don't want everybody coming to your house, but yeah. There is something going on, though, tonight
That's correct.
people will be able to, a select amount of people will be able to take advantage of and go inside your house and also enjoy all of the art. Tell us about that a little bit and why you're doing that, why you're opening up your own doors.
It's a fundraiser. It's a fundraiser for the park. And we do this particular fundraiser annually, and this is the 4th one.
Okay.
And what happens, people come and have cocktails, and then we board the Tennessee Valley Railroad, which pulls up right here behind my house. And
cool.
This year will be the first time that we haven't done the initial part of the party in my house.
Oh.
This year we're doing it in that big white tent you see up
there. Gotcha.
And we just hope it cools down a little bit by the time everybody starts coming.
Yes, please.
But there will be a band. There will be a speaker, and it's a pretty fun event. We all have a good time. And then the dinner on the train takes about 2 hours, and that's a fabulous experience.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excited for all this coming. I'm coming. So excited. Okay, let's talk about funding the park. What is needed?
What is needed is more money.
More money. It's always needed.
Money is a very critical part of this. Mm-hmm. And to date, we've raised about 1.2, 1.3. And that has essentially built the first phase of the park. We decided in the beginning to do 3 phases. We've completed phase 1, and we're well into phase 2. And we're actually working on phase 3. So we're already maybe 2 years ahead of schedule.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You don't hear that a lot.
And also, we opened on time. And
Another thing you don't hear a lot.
That was a real good thing for us.
Definitely. So what was phase 1?
Phase 1 is pretty much what you're looking at right in here.
Okay.
You get over beyond the red spires there, then you get into phase 2. And phase 2, up in the front of the park, will have a visitor center, which will be a pretty large facility. It'll have a big atrium, meeting area, exhibition area, what have you, and it will have classrooms. And we will have programming, and a big part of our thrust is education.
Definitely.
As we all know, education in the schools has been cut way back. Sometimes, in some cases, has been eliminated.
It's awful.
So part of our mission is to make a facility available to the community and the region for educational purposes.
It's awesome.
So we're already engaged with a lot of different organizations dealing with
the arts.
bringing art education into the region and the community.
So when is the projected date or goal for that to occur, the visitor center and the education? I'm sure the strategic planning is underway at this point.
If there's somebody listening,
somebody's listening
that's got about $5 million, we'll name the facility after them.
Oh, hey, if you're listening, pull out the checkbook. Ellis, digital director, you ready?
I'll throw in 4. What do I get for 4?
Yeah.
Well, it's we're getting ready to embark on that.
Okay.
And then in phase 3, which is right behind the white piece back there.
Yeah, it's with the red.
Yeah, back where those trucks are.
Okay.
There will be a pretty massive amphitheater.
Oh, cool.
And that will bring in the performing arts.
Bear with us. We have this cool new camera. It's called a Mevo, if anyone's heard of it. So we're going to try to walk with the Mevo.
Okay.
John Henry's dealing with the Mevo and the TFP digital crew. So, okay. So over there, an amphitheater. That's so cool. I just went to one for a Dixie Chicks concert outside of Atlanta, the Verizon Amphitheater.
Yeah.
It's such a cool experience to be outside like that. It makes it feel more like intimate, even if you're in like a large area. you know, than being under the whole stadium
Right.
and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
We will be able to have concerts. We'll be able to have theater. We'll be able to have a lot of the performing arts kinds of activities. And we're pretty excited about it.
Now, that's going to cost a lot of money too, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So
Everything costs money,
I
unfortunately.
know.
Now, somebody asked, can they rent the venue? We had a question. Is there any way for people to rent it or lease space for an event?
For an event. Some perimeter.
Like that.
One of the country's more important Latin American artists. He's from Mexico, and he's deceased. He was in a traffic accident about a year ago, and he's a fantastic sculptor and a fantastic friend. And you know, immediately when we started this park, he said, "John," he said, "you need a peace of mind." I said, "Of course."
Of course.
But let me show you what it does.
So it's called Granite Windows? Did I read that? Okay. Oh, cool. Very cool.
So I look out my window every once in a while, and there's 2 dozen kids on this one.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody pushing.
Should I get in? Just kidding. Not
Does
today.
that need a lot of WD-40 to keep it going?
Yeah,
You know,
WD-40.
it's on a really good thrust bearing, and we haven't had to do anything. Eventually, we'll have to pick it up with the crane and re-grease the bearing and set it back down. But it's...
But a lot of cool pictures have taken place. In
oh,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I would never have thought to come over and try to move it myself. So thanks for showing us. So you can do that too, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your friend. I'm glad you have that here from
We've
him.
lost several sculptors in the last year or two, and it's really unfortunate.
Sad. But you have their art, and that will live on here and forever. Art is a beautiful thing.
It sure is, and it changes people's lives, and it changes the way you look at things. And you know, every time someone comes out, they can go back to the same piece and see it differently.
Yeah, depending on what's going on with them. Definitely. It's like music too.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's very close to music. Every time
it.
you hear a symphony, you're going to hear it a little differently than you did before.
You know, it's funny, sometimes we come across people in the news business that are so, like, moving so quickly all the time. Sometimes I'm like, just take a minute and look. Look at this.
That's right.
You know? Okay, so look
Speaking
at this.
of.
Yeah, speaking of. Very cool. Definitely not paper mache, people. Kind of reminds me of, like, a artifact.
All of this is solid. And I think this piece weighs about 45,000 pounds.
Tell me the name of this one again.
You know, I don't remember the name.
Hey.
And names aren't important to me, and they usually aren't too important to the artists themselves. But you got to give them a name.
Right, it's the reporter in me. I want the headline. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's for myself. I used to number my pieces. People hate that, you know, because it's just so
Mechanical.
Yeah, it's mechanical. That's right. And so it's you know, there are no cars allowed to drive in the park. But that's my wife.
Oh, she's allowed. I'll let it slide.
She's got in there with her an artist who did the other white piece way up there in the front. You passed it. You probably can't see it.
Yeah, we can't see
Her name is Jane Manis.
So she's here for tonight?
Hmm?
Is she here for tonight?
She's in the car right there now. Yeah.
Is she joining the dinner
Absolutely.
train group tonight?
Yeah.
Yes.
And,
love talking to artists.
And this piece over here is interesting because the artist is from Nashville.
Oh, cool.
But he's been living for the last 10 years in Potsdam, New York, because he teaches at SUNY Potsdam. So.
Fun. Awesome. So you have a lot of, I mean, some somebody from everywhere, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We only have about,
How many pieces are in here?
there are 30 pieces right now.
Wow.
Maybe 31.
And they're all so different. So this
Yeah.
was the one you
This
were
is Doug Schatz.
from Nashville
And
originally.
he is from Nashville.
Okay.
But he's been, he's been out of Nashville for a long time.
Okay.
But the other interesting thing is he built this piece here.
Oh, really?
In my studio, right over there. So my guys helped him build it. We hauled it over here and we poured a foundation and put it up.
So what does this one say to you?
Well, I look at it as kind of a crown.
Okay, I can see
I'm not sure he sees it
kind
that
of like
way.
a Mad Hatter almost.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really pretty. What do you think of it, Ellis?
I think it's reaching for the sky.
There you go. There you go.
We all see something different.
And that's important. That's the good thing about contemporary art, because there usually is, in the minds of an artist, some kind of message. But the message is not as important as what you see with your eyes and your own experience that you bring to a work of art. And that's really the most important part.
I have to bring it down to a more base level. We got a couple people asking, where are we? They want to come here. How do I get here? So what is this place? Where are we at? And how do you travel here?
Okay, if you're coming from downtown, you take Market south to Main Street, make a left on Main, and go east toward Missionary Ridge to Polk Street. Polk Street is really 2 streets to the east of Central. And you pass Central and you turn left or turn right on Polk. And you come down Polk to the south, across the railroad track. And the entrance is about 300 yards south of the railroad.
And this is Rossville? What is this road over here?
Rossville is diagonally over there.
Okay.
The street that is...
I got off on like exit 180A and then I turned on Polk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's if you're coming from the expressway.
Yeah.
That's the way you do it.
So you can go online too, because you guys are already online, and just when I've been here in the past, I've just Googled
Montague Park.
Montague Park.
Yeah, it shows up on Google Maps.
And you guys have a website, and
Right.
there's all sorts of pictures you can find online of these sculptures, but the pictures really, to me, don't do it justice. You have to come here and see them and experience them, and it's so much larger than you would think, for sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of large, should we check out the July 16th? I want to check out yours too. Let's look at your sculpture.
Let's look at Betty
we can
Davis
walk up
Eyes
that way.
and July 16th. I have that song. I'm gonna have that song in my head, by the way. Like
What,
for the rest.
Betty Davis
yes,
Eyes?
for the rest of the weekend. It's
You
very
know,
dark and twisty. I
when
like
you're
that.
working in the studio, you have the radio turned up and you're listening to all this music.
Yeah.
And Betty Davis Eyes was really a great song.
I love that song.
Yeah.
If I could sing, I would, but
Oh, just give it a shot.
I'll sing "Happy Birthday" to you later. It's his
Thanks.
birthday. It's Ellis's birthday.
Happy
He's holding
birthday.
all the equipment.
I know,
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to spend some time outside on my birthday, so
It's a good job. Everybody, I mean, your job is amazing too, and people have different impressions of jobs, but everyone's always telling me, your job at the TFP is so fun. It looks like you have so much fun, and we really do. So thanks for having fun with us on your lunch break every day, doing these Facebook Lives. It's all live. You didn't realize we're live.
We are live.
And it lives
Okay.
on Facebook, John.
Okay.
Yes. Like the art lives on. I wouldn't necessarily call what we're doing art, but it lives on Facebook. Okay, Betty Davis. Here we go.
This piece was actually built in Florida. This was built in Miami. I had a studio there
Yeah.
for 15 years. And
There
I
she
built
is.
this piece and sold it to a collector
Okay.
that lived north of Chicago,
Okay.
Chicago suburb. And he had this big mansion of a house and a big front lawn in Highland Park or one of those north suburbs.
Yeah.
And he put the thing up right in front of his house.
Very
And
cool.
The
Cool
neighborhood just came down on him like a ton of bricks.
Of course.
But he wouldn't move it. He stuck to his guns. So
I like him.
Then his daughter inherited the piece, and she took it to Long Island.
Okay.
And or at least that's what I understand.
And now she's back?
Now they gave it to us.
Oh,
I mean,
awesome.
he passed away, and his daughter owned it, and
It's a
she
good
gave
story.
it to the park.
It's a good history.
But I hadn't seen this piece since 1975 when it arrived here.
So when did it arrive back?
We've had this piece in place for almost a year.
Okay. And how long has this, or the first piece, been here?
The first piece we put in, I can't even remember which one it was, but it was 3 years ago.
3 years ago?
3 years
Wow,
ago.
a lot has been done in 3 years.
And it really, the first pieces were put in before we were even really underway. And but they came in, so we set them up.
Right.
And kind of built around it.
Yeah.
One
made
of the,
it work.
Well, actually, I do know the first piece.
Okay,
the first
he remembers.
piece that was put in was the Market Super, which is that big rusty piece right there to the right of the little piece.
Okay.
And Marc de Sugro lives in New York and California and France.
Nice.
And he is the most well-known living American sculptor.
Wow.
And,
It's amazing to have it here, you guys.
yeah,
Chattanooga.
he's been a friend of mine for more than 50 years.
You've got some cool friends, John.
And Renee wants to know, what does this place honor or represent? And you're gonna get some questions that maybe you've already covered a little bit because people can tune in and tune out. But
the park is not in honor of anybody particularly, but it honors the world of sculpture, and the mission is to bring contemporary sculpture to this region. And we were talking earlier about education and trying to contribute to the educational aspect of our community. And so that's what it honors. And it really honors the young people, the young kids that are going to come here and crawl all over these pieces.
So yeah, you can touch them.
Yeah.
you said they moved this piece. How do you move something like that?
It comes apart.
Okay, it does.
It comes apart and lays on a flat bed, nice and neat like
Okay.
this. So
Okay.
it has to.
Where are we going next? Did you want to see?
You want to go over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Giving you a workout today?
I'm used to it.
And you guys, there's actually a breeze. There's a breeze right now. It's amazing.
As long as you're up here,
Yeah.
down in the valley,
Oh. Hey, hanging on to the moment. Living in the moment, John. You've inspired me today. It's all
right
about
over here.
sculpture
This
fields.
piece by Linda Howard.
Oh, cool.
Who was originally from New York. She lives in Florida now. She lives in the Tampa Bay area.
Okay.
And, you know, the other pieces around, there's a rusty piece right there, which is Jan Meyer Roga. And he is from Hamburg, Germany.
You can get it if you need to. I think it's
Kathy.
the executive director calling us.
I'm in the middle of the interview.
It's okay. Do you have a question?
Okay.
No question. That was just...
That's our executive
Okay.
director.
Yeah.
She's probably tearing her hair out today.
Yeah, for the event tonight. So we encourage everyone we talk to on Facebook Live just to go about their normal...
I apologize
No,
for
we want
leaving
you
this
to do.
on.
We want you to do whatever you want to do here. And is there a piece that honors July 16th?
Yes.
Is that right?
The large one there, and that's the largest piece in the park, and that's done by Peter Lundberg. And Peter is now very well known. He builds pieces throughout the world, and he builds pieces on site.
Wow.
That thing weighs over 100 tons, so there's no way that can ever be transported.
No.
So
It's here for good.
and it belongs to the park.
How long did it take? Where did he do this?
A little
here?
closer.
Where did he do
He
this?
did it right where it is.
Okay.
But what we did, we built that mound for him,
Okay.
and then we brought out a small excavator, and he started himself digging a hole in the ground.
Oh my God.
And he dug out the shape that he envisioned,
It's really cool.
and with a backhoe, and then he lines the ditch with plastic, and then he builds a construction of reinforcing bar, and we lower that into the hole with a crane, and then we order concrete, and you fill fill the trench up with concrete. So you can imagine that whole thing laying flat in the ground. You can't even see it. You know?
Crazy.
And then about 2 weeks later, we come in with the same backhoe and start digging around it. And then we get a giant cable, big around as your fist.
Okay.
We put it around right up where the X is.
Yeah.
And we bring out the largest crane in the region, well over a 300-ton crane, and we lifted it out of the ground. We had a tent set up there, and we had about 150 people watching that thing come out of the ground.
Wow, it's amazing.
And of course, during the process, we decided that it should be dedicated to the 5 soldiers who lost their lives here in Chattanooga. And so that's how it all happened. And it's called Anchors. And there are actually 5.
See, that's a good name for it.
It is.
That's a piece to name.
And it is anchored. There's probably, well, it goes down about another 12 feet underground.
Wow,
And there's
12
this
feet
giant
under.
concrete base. So there's
That's so cool.
almost as much weight below the ground as there is sticking out of the ground.
Have any of the families been able to come here?
All of them have been here. All of them. Most of them were here for the unveiling.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been back for several ceremonies and things that they've done on their own.
What is it like for you to see that?
It's real moving. You know, you want to bring tears to your eyes. Just attend one of these things and listen to these kids talk about their dad. And and then you think about, you know, our whole way of life, and you think about what's happening in our communities, how these events are really changing our lives, changing how we think about things. So
I'm glad
it's tough, but it's good because it brings awareness to the problem. You know, so often things can happen, and we're becoming kind of desensitized to a lot of these things, and they go away. And this is going to make sure that never goes away.
Right, and I'm glad that these kids, as they grow up or have kids of their own, like you said, art is forever. And this piece, like John Henry mentioned, is truly here forever. Cannot be taken apart and moved. So that is a positive, beautiful thing out of something.
It certainly is.
Horrible that's going on.
This is John Petrie, who lives down the street.
Okay.
Local sculptor.
Neighbor of yours?
Yeah.
Cool neighbors and cool friends.
Yeah.
I need to hang out here more. Okay. So this is definitely different from the other pieces that we've walked around and seen.
There's going to be a complete range of the kind of outdoor, contemporary, large-scale sculpture that we see around the country. Hopefully we'll have a representation of everything.
I would say so. Tell people too. Let's talk a little bit about yourself and your history. You've mentioned you lived in Miami, had a place there for a while where you did art. I'm sure you've been all over the world. Tell people about who you are as an artist and a little bit about your background all over the place.
I've been building sculpture for in excess now of 50 years. And I started out in Chicago, and I went there to go to school. And I went to the Art Institute, and as a painter. I entered the Art Institute as a painter. And because of construction background, I had a lot of knowledge of welding and all that kind of stuff. So my friends were all sculptors. So pretty much I was starting to make sculpture of my own. Then I kind of stopped painting, and I can't even tell you when that happened. It happened very naturally. And but I've been making sculpture now for close to 50 years. And, you know, it's been a great ride. I've got pieces all over the world, all over Europe, China, Asia.
It's amazing.
And, you know, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a hell of a challenge.
Hell of a ride. Right.
And it's not over. You know, the interesting thing about sculptors, they say, well, aren't you slowing down? Aren't you thinking about hanging it up? You can't. You know, George Rickey, who you may or may not know. He's one of the country's most famous kinetic artists. He made pieces that move. And he was 94, I think, when he died, maybe 8 or 9 years ago. And he was in a studio repairing a piece that had been sent back to him. And the day before he died. So,
I'm sure that's where he would have wanted to be.
Yeah. He worked up the day he died.
So do you ever sleep? Or are you always thinking about
Last night
art?
I didn't sleep too much.
No?
we got this damn event going on.
Creative minds. They're like a double-edged sword, right?
Well, that when you get involved in something like this is not really like making art. This is like herding cats. And, it's a whole different world.
Yes, and it looks like a different world here. Tell me too, a few places you've mentioned. Where else besides Chattanooga can people see your pieces specifically?
Okay, downtown Dallas.
Okay.
Right in the center of the downtown, I have a piece that's 104 feet high. It's
Wow.
the largest piece in Texas.
Cool.
And
that means something.
Yeah. Everything's big in Texas.
But it's that was just installed last year, and that's an amazing experience, an amazing sight. And Dallas is a really great city, and really fortunate to have a piece there. I've got pieces in Miami, all over Miami, all over Florida, in the Midwest, pretty much every major city.
And other spots here in Chattanooga, tell people.
In front of the Hunter Museum, the gateway going into Chattanooga State is a piece of mine. And there's a piece there's two pieces now on the UTC campus.
Okay.
And there's a lot of pieces.
There's a lot of you.
Yeah.
Throughout the world, sprinkled throughout the world, and you can't miss them. So that's the good thing. Well, I know he is really trying to get ready for this dinner train that he's welcoming people in his house. If you didn't catch that earlier, we were talking about that, talking to them about art. They'll be able to be out here tonight. So I know you have to go. Thank you so much for your time. It's been
My
an
pleasure.
honor for us to get to learn more about Sculpture Fields here at Montague Park and to learn more about you. I
Well,
mean,
thank you so much.
Such a treat for us.
Thank
seriously.
you so much.
And where
You're
can people go for
welcome.
more information?
They can go to the website, which is sculpturefields.org.
It's .org.
Yeah.
Mhm. And we'll link that to our Times Free Press page under this video. We'll put a little link. So Ellis, you're gonna do that, or somebody will do that.
Let me just say, our executive director is Catherine Clifford.
And you can find her information online too.
and she can answer any question you have. She's amazing, and she gets back to you right away. She does an unbelievable job. Yes,
Yeah.
she does.